So guys, I know I told you, and most importantly, I told myself that I was only gonna do a few complaining episodes this week. I was done complaining. I was gonna stop blackpilling about this administration and our government, but unfortunately, it is Friday. It is your first Friday episode, so hopefully you guys like this, but it is Friday. We are doing this episode because the news cycle never sleeps. And guys, we are also doing this episode because it is just too damn funny to ignore. Like, Righteous Gemstones could not have written a character as great as Trump's spiritual advisor, Paula White-Cain. Her last name is Cain, which you will see is very, very important. I'm going to show you in the biblical sense why Cain is the perfect last name for this woman. Anyway, settle in, everybody, and let's just set the scene. Let's start with her most recent clip that has now taken the internet by storm, because at a recent White House Easter event, which you will see, I don't think this was supposed to be publicized, but at this recent event, she said this.
And Mr. President, no one has paid the price like you have paid the price. It almost cost you your life. You were betrayed and arrested and falsely accused. It's a familiar pattern that our Lord and Savior showed us. But it didn't end there for him, and it didn't end there for you.
And there you have it, folks. The senior most spiritual advisor of the United States is telling us that Donald Trump is akin to Jesus. Yes, you heard that correctly. That is not your boomer aunt posting MAGA AI slop memes on Facebook. That is the president's senior most spiritual advisor comparing him to Jesus, which honestly, that is like the last thing that Trump needs. But unfortunately, as you're going to see, this is one of the more tame things that this woman has said. But, you know, the good thing is, thanks to her, maybe this is the kind of unity that the conservative movement actually needs. Now, before we dive into this story, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you've not already, and of course, ring that notification bell if you want to stay up to date on every single thing we are releasing on The Brett Cooper Show. All right, so needless to say, after that video went viral yesterday, people were less than pleased with these remarks. Like, somebody posted this, Jesus scrolling on X being utterly displeased. Another person posted this, I don't know her. And then somebody else said this is beyond disrespectful, it is outright offensive. Comparing a politician to Jesus Christ isn't faith, it is manipulation. Betrayal, arrest, criticism, those are parts of politics. They are not the crucifixion. Could not have put it better myself. Now, in case you have never heard of this woman who has a direct line to the president, let me give you a little background. So again, her name is Paula White. She has been married 3 times, very Christian of her. And right now, weirdly, randomly, I guess, she is married to the pianist from the band Journey. And she met Trump back in 2001, and she has been friends with him ever since. Now, she is a televangelist, she is a pastor, she's kind of like the female Joel Osteen. And at one point, her church had over 20,000 members until it was investigated for, drum roll please, tax fraud. Tax fraud. You got it. Now, part of the Senate investigation into this fraud looked into their outrageous salaries, where Paula and her then husband were paying themselves $5 million. And let's just say, when we kind of go back through the Rolodex of Paula White clips, she is not shy about demanding money. Just watch.
Because I'm telling you, there's an anointing of release right now. I want $100,000 to come in. I want $100,000. There are 10 people that could give $10,000. There's 100 people that could give $1,000. Get a check, make it payable to Paula White Ministry. There are people that are watching right now. If you say, I don't have it, give $100. Bring up a sacrificial seed. This isn't for me. This is about kids that will die without you being obedient.
This isn't about me, except I need you to send in $100,000 so I can buy a new jet ski. This isn't about me, but I need a Ferrari. Shut up. Sorry, that was a bit harsh. I'll consider my language. Anyway, it's just ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Now, this is just one commenter, but based on the videos that we are all about to watch, I just want to say this story did not shock me. Listen to this. This person said, my woman has a contractor who worked on Paula White's home in Florida. He saw her walk into the kitchen while he was working on paperwork, billing, and was surprised at how she looked without makeup. During their conversation about money and her bill, future estimates, etc., she made a remark about how easy it is to bring in $1 million. She said all it took was a fake need, and in it came. A fake need, and in it came. And let's just say that a fake need is right, as you will see. Back to the story. Nothing really came from that Senate investigation. Obviously, there was information that came out. People were looking into her husband, the church. They were skeptical, but there were no arrests made. However, by 2014, years later, her church had filed for bankruptcy. The doors had shut, and their 10,000-seat building, their church, was demolished. Now, you might be sitting here wondering, okay, well, Brett, how does a church that at one point was bringing in an alleged $40 million a year, how did that that go bankrupt? How did they lose all of their money? How were they spending all of that money? Well, according to the Senate's investigation memo, it was thanks to things like their private jet, which they obviously needed. I mean, there is nothing that a mega church pastor loves more than a private jet, Nike sneakers, maybe some jet skis, like I said, nothing more. Now, on top of the jet, Paula and her husband also bought the biggest homes they could find. And that is not an exaggeration. Look at this line from the memo. An insider told committee staff that an accounting firm hired by the church told the Whites to purchase the largest house they could find. In the spring of 2003, the Whites hired a pool contractor to put in a new in-ground concrete pool and spa at this residence because I am sure that is what God wanted for Paula. And don't worry, guys, because if you are thinking that almost 9,000 square foot residence was not enough for Paula, she also bought a $3.5 million condo in Trump Tower, obviously. And logically, the only way to get closer to Jesus, other than having big hair, is by buying a convertible. And so she and her husband bought a Bentley, which you can see in this photograph right there. Now, the other main points that came out of this briefing, this memo, include how family members of Paula and her husband were paid significant amounts through the organization, and how the church used a confidentiality agreement to discourage former staff from speaking out, which is never a good sign. Now, what is a good sign, however, is somebody eating Good Ranchers. And Good Ranchers is about more than just selling meat. It is about protecting American agriculture, because my friends over at Good Ranchers, they partner with local farmers and ranchers to deliver 100% American meat straight to your door. It is pasture raised, has no antibiotics, no added hormones. It is the kind of quality that you can actually feel good about serving to the people around your dinner table. And you'll also feel good knowing that you are helping keep family farms in business while they get elbowed out by foreign producers and factory farming every single day. So what better way to celebrate making it out of this winter and into grilling season in summer than with a Good Rancher subscription? Plus, huge news, this is so fun, Good Ranchers just launched custom boxes. So now you can build your own box with the cuts that your family truly loves. Steak for grilling, chicken for weeknight dinners, whatever you reach for most. Start your plan today, and with my code Brett, you will get $25 off your first order. So that is free meat with every single order of your subscription, and $25 off that first order when you use my code Brett at checkout. Go to goodranchers.com to get started. And if you just can't get enough beef in your life, then you need beef tallow, specifically from my friends over at Mallow Tallow. And yes, for the men out there, you will love this too. I even have Alex, my husband, using it. It has been a staple in both of our lives for years now. So tallow is literally just rendered beef fat. It is packed with the same fatty acids and nutrients your skin naturally needs and uses. It absorbs, it hydrates, and it helps your skin stay balanced without all of the unnecessary and toxic ingredients that is stuffed into most synthetic moisturizers that honestly don't even deliver for you. And while tallow is definitely popular right now, it's kind of a trend, this is not just some new skincare fad, because tallow has been used to support skin for hundreds of years. And out of all the brands out there, and I have tried a lot of them, Mallow is the one that I trust the most. They are a small family-owned business making everything in the USA with grass-fed tallow and organic essential oils. Clean, minimal, small batch, and effective, and they have launched so many amazing new products that your skin and body will love. My newest favorite is their powdered cleanser, which is officially part of my nighttime routine. It kind of smells like coffee. It's like a little bit exfoliating. It is great. You are going to love it. So if you have been on the fence about any of their products, this is your sign. You can grab their tallow along with all of their other non-toxic products with a special 15% off discount at amallow.com/Cooper using code Cooper15 at checkout. Anyway, back to the point. The reason why I am breaking all of this down for you is because this woman, Paula White, is the senior advisor to the White House Faith Office, and possibly more importantly, is Trump's personal minister. But it gets better, guys, because on top of that, others have called her the God Whisperer, thanks to her relationship with Donald Trump. And you know what? Apparently, Paula is comfortable with that label. In an article released a few years ago, she said, if somebody wants to characterize that as I'm the God Whisperer, well, I'm a person that prays over him, Trump, every day, and the person that goes into prayer for him. A person that can walk into his office pretty openly and freely and pray over him before every rally if I'm there. That's not unusual. And if God inspires me to share something with him, I do. Okay, well, the thing is, I'm not sure if the American people really like what she's sharing. Moving on, back to this week, that Easter event went viral for all the wrong reasons. And interestingly, it looks like the public was not really supposed to see anything from that Easter luncheon, or maybe the White House realized that it was a bad look because that live stream was immediately deleted. So look at this. This is one of the guys that was pulling clips from the event, and he commented this under one of his posts. He said, the lunch was closed press per the White House pool, but it looks like they've just uploaded the feed to YouTube anyway. And he posted that at 4:22 p.m. on April 1st. And then, guys, 30 minutes and millions of views later, they took it down. When you try to click on the link that he posted, this is what you get. Now, unfortunately, Unfortunately for our friends at the White House, apparently they do not have enough Gen Zers working for them to inform them that the internet is forever. And deleting that live stream, taking it down, only put more eyes on Paula White and this event. And so now, it seems like the entire internet, including myself, has really caught on to how ridiculous this woman is. But I mean, maybe that should have been obvious to everyone, considering that she claims to do exorcisms by blowing into a microphone. Just watch. I'm sorry, are we watching Harry Potter or are we going to church? Are you Dumbledore or are you a pastor? I'm genuinely asking here because that is the vibe that I'm getting. Somebody commented and said, getting rid of evil spirits like this seems amazing. Why can't she remove these evil spirits from the Iranian leaders? Why does her method only seem to work on ordinary Christians? If she could remove evil spirits from Iranian leaders, maybe we wouldn't need a war. So true! Guys, somebody call up the God Whisperer, get her stilettos, boots on the ground in Iran. Let's solve this world peace. Thanks to the God Whisperer. Anyway, moving on from that. Listen, I have to say, as you guys know, I voted for Trump. I have a soft spot for the man. I like him way more than a lot of people in politics. I'm open about that. But unfortunately, I simply do not agree with the idea that if we say no to Trump, we are saying no to God. But apparently, that's what Paula White believes.
To say no to President Trump would be saying no to God. And I won't do it.
Oh, she won't do that. Okay, well, that sounds like a cult, Paula, and I will be saying no to that. And this is just also crazy to me because I think it's common knowledge at this point, for better or for worse, that ego and pride is a significant part of Trump's character, and I really don't think this woman is helping him wield it well. If these are the things that she is saying around him, as she prays over him, as she whispers over him, like that, it just genuinely is not helping. Now, I also do not think that she is helping the Trump administration at large when factually, this is factual, there is a growing concern about Israel and AIPAC, especially considering the war in Iran right now. And meanwhile, you have Paula White out here saying stuff like this.
I say as a Christian, it should be mandated to go to Israel before you get to heaven.
I'm so with it. It should be mandated. If you want to go to heaven, you should go to Israel. Okay. Thanks, Paula. Now, she also said things like this.
Let's receive God's tithe and his offering. I believe that it's so important to honor God with his tithe. That's the first 10th of your gross income. And an offering, that's free will. And as you do, you support Paula White Ministry. And I say this, it takes money for ministry. By your giving, you've helped build a moshav, a village in Israel from the horrific attacks of October 7th. And the greatest thing you do is take the gospel around the world.
All right, so what she is saying there is that she wants you to dial 1-800-PAULA-17, donate 1/10 of your income to her, and then she can distribute it as she sees fit, maybe to Israel, maybe to other places. Like, I am sorry, Paula, I don't actually believe that the money is gonna go to Israel or any of these other places. Like, I'm kind of getting the feeling that maybe you just want another condo. Maybe you just want another Bentley convertible. Is all I'm saying. Now, to just make this so much worse, it's also important to note, I think, that she is not Trump's first spiritual advisor with a bad spirit, I would say, because one of his former advisors was actually just released from prison after only serving 6 months of his 10-year sentence after he was arrested for sexually abusing a 12-year-old girl back in the 80s. This literally happened March 31st. Texas megachurch pastor Robert Morris is free after 6 months in Oklahoma jail for child sex abuse. I'm tired. Like, it's like all just coming out. Like, obviously, I had to do an episode on this. I just don't even know what to say, and I feel genuinely conflicted because obviously the United States was founded as a Christian country. This doesn't feel very Christian to me, obviously, but I'm kind of understanding more and more every single day why the founding fathers believed in the separation of church and state, and maybe these people should not be involved in our government, is all I am trying to say, because I am tired. I'm exhausted, though I will say I'm probably not as tired as Paula was after this 2020 prayer service, which, by the way, had the goal to secure Trump's re-election.
For I hear victory, 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 victory in the corridors of heaven. In the corridors of heaven, victory, 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 victory.
I don't think she's saying any words. I think she's saying whatever. Sorry, is that offensive? I think that she is making all of that up. Also, this clip in its entirety is just perfect. Like, is this really who we are propping up to represent modern Christianity? A female pastor wearing an off-the-shoulder Lululemon top, speaking in tongues with a random guy walking back and forth behind behind her reading God knows what. I have no idea what is going on. Like doing cheerleading chants in order to get a man reelected? I just don't even know what to say. I have all of these qualms and these concerns about the direction of this administration, and then I just look at all of the people who surround Donald Trump, whether it is Paula or Kristi Noem and her Botox, or Kash Patel and the podcast and the private jet and his custom Nike dunks. Like, I just see people who are desperate for their own personal moment in the limelight, who are so obviously driven by their own ambition versus what is honest, good, and true for the United States. It is just atrocious. And I get that that is like the least shocking thing I could ever say about people that are in government, but it is true. Also, on that note, because of that, I think it is an excellent thing that TMZ has decided to direct their attention on Washington, on people in government, because obviously that is what these people want. They want the Hollywood spectacle. They want to end up with a podcast. Like, let's give them that Hollywood paparazzi coverage, because if you will not give us transparency and honesty, we will find another way to get it, even if it is through an unlikely allyship with TMZ. But anyway, moving on from that little aside, I just have really enjoyed that. I don't know if you guys have been watching TMZ's coverage of all the politicians during the government shutdown. You should be. The last thing I will say here is that this growing dislike and distrust of Paula White could be the unity that the conservative movement needs, because everyone, and I mean everyone, from Zionists to Groypers, are fed up with this woman. Like, you have Eric Erickson calling her a Trinity-denying heretic years ago, and now today, years later, he is still posting about her and how much he dislikes her, especially in light of this week's Easter event. And so, Trump, if you happen to be watching this, I know that you just removed Kristi Noem. I know that you gave Pam Bondi the boot literally seconds before I sat down to film this episode. Maybe do the same for Paula White. Consider it a present for our Easter baskets, please.